So in this week's episode of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 12, it's the conclusion of the Sports Festival arc, and the next arc, as we know, since he was introduced in last week's episode, officially introduced, Stain the Hero Killer, we know that's the next arc for this season. And we're practically, I would say we are halfway through this second season. We can assume that by next episode or the following episode, at least episode 14, we can have a new opening and new ending. So the final battle at the sports festival was Todoroki versus Kacchan, and many would have thought, okay, these two characters who are the best within their class and within their hero course would have like an all out type of battle with each other. You would have thought it would have been on the same level as Deku versus Todoroki, but that is not the case. Actually, it's because of Deku and Todoroki's battle that this one was kind of more on Kacchan's side, because Todoroki was not really giving it his all. He is perplexed about the entire situation. So we know about his history with his father and his mother, how his dad has basically been training him and trying to utilize him to become a tool that can surpass All Might, since he himself cannot do it. And then how much of the pressure has been put on his mother, and we know what the incident with him and his mother pouring boiling hot water on his face, and with the fact that his mother has not been in his life for some time period. For him, he has been rejecting his left side, his fire side for such a long time, because each time he sees it, it reminds him of his father, and we know of his strained relationship with him. So ever since Deku told him to use his full power, and that it is his power, not his parents. Yes, it's your powers come from the genetics, from the DNA of your parents, but you make it your own. It is your own power. And for the first time, he has actually used his left side. After that, he is unsure on where he stands right now, because he has rejected that side for such a long time, and now to finally use it for the very first time, he's in a state of confusion. And he has not gotten over his state of confusion. He brings that into his final battle of the final stage of the sports festival against Todoroki. And we know Todoroki was going all out, and he says he's not taking first place from scum that doesn't try to give 100%. So while Kacchan is going in, we see where Todoroki, usually he would have been more composed, he would have been more sure of the situation, but because of his last fight, and because right now, like I said, he's perplexed, he's in libido right now, he's in between, he couldn't give it his all, and he was knocked out of bounds by Kacchan, and Kacchan unfortunately won first place. I say unfortunately because, like I said, he didn't want to win first place if his opponent was not giving it their all, giving their best. And it was really hilarious. Like, Kacchan had me cracking up in this episode, because when All Might went to give them their medals, of course Ida had to rush to the hospital because of what happened to his brother in last week's episode. His older brother Ingenium, or also known as Tensei, was severely injured by Stain, and if he did not have that surgery quick any sooner, he would have died. So luckily he is still alive, but he is in critical condition. So he had to run to go see his brother, which was a very sad moment in this week's episode. He would have also got a medal. Going back to Kacchan, it was hilarious because he had to be tied down with chains, put a muzzle on his mouth, because he was so angry with the outcome of the fight between him and Todoroki. And I was cracking up, because this guy, he reminds me of characters from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. Like, he's a mixture of Zanzis, Squallow, and Gokudera just mashed it together. And I'm like, this guy must have popped a few blood vessels. He's only 15. His blood pressure must be off the roof. And I guess he got his anger issues from his mom, because later in the episode he's talking about die germs die. He's so angry, brushing his teeth, and his mom is yelling at him to shut up. It's in the afternoon and you're making so much noise. And we can assume he got his anger problems from his mother. I would love to see his mom at that as well, because she must be a pretty hilarious character. So All Might was giving them a little bit of advice when he was handing them the medals, telling Tokoyami that he should try to build up his strength in the terms of he can't always rely on his quirk, and also the fact with Todoroki, how he noticed that he didn't use his left side, and he should, and how Todoroki says that he has some stuff to, settle with and, fix before he can say he goes on to becoming his ideal type of hero. So we later see him going to visit his mother. Now, if you could take in consideration of like the timeline and possibly the last time he saw his mother after his father put her in the hospital, we don't know exactly what happened, but I don't think I want to know, and I don't think the rest of you guys want to know how his father put her in the hospital. But I'm guessing she has been there since he was around, say, 6 or 7 years old. So he hasn't seen her for a good 7 to 8 years. And the only reason for that is because he feared that she was still bounded by him and his father. So to make amends and for him to actually be able to move on with his life, for the first time, almost close to a decade, he actually goes to see his mom, and in hopes that when they do talk and try to sell things and, smoothing things out with their relationship, he can actually, starting from the starting line with both of them, he can actually take things one step at a time. And that's much needed for his character because of his past, and he needs to be able to talk things out and try to see where, some things can be reconciled, start a new relationship, and hopefully he'll be able to talk things out with his father in the future, hopefully. And this is much needed for his character. So not much really happened in this episode. The fight was good, but I had to say it was really the Todoroki versus Deku fight in this sports festival arc that had me hyped up because of how grand it was and how explosive it was. And I cannot wait to see the next arc with Stain, the hero killer, and just why he wants to kill All Might, and how they're going to deal with his character, because even though he is a villain, it's his abilities that I want to see that makes me hyped up for the next arc. So if you guys saw this week's episode of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2 Episode 12, do drop a comment down below on how you felt about this week's episode, and what are your feelings towards the next arc that is coming up for this season. The links are in the description box as always, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kacchan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.